Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. I am here to do a collective tarot and oracle energy update and reading. And I already pulled the oracle card, Clear Endeavor and Make a Decision. So I'm strongly picking up on a life path message and topic for today's reading, and I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. So I'm feeling like this is going to reach the collective that is maybe in the process of getting clear on your desires, getting clear on what it is you want to manifest, and approaching that pivotal point where you make a decision and you commit to that process and to that goal or to that dream. And I really feel like I'm getting chills because this isn't just another goal that you're working towards manifesting. This is something that has significant upheavals or changes that are going to be brought about as a result to your life. And what I mean by that is this is a milestone of a dream that you are working towards. And because this is such a pivotal and significant change or dream that you are trying to manifest, that you will manifest, a big commitment is going to be required from you at this time. And that's also why we're getting the Make a Decision oracle card, because this is going to require you not just to make a decision at the mental level, but at an emotional and soul-driven, soul-aligned level. And so whether you require more of a physical or practical or like time management commitment to get closer to this endeavor that you're getting clarity on and working towards, or whether it requires more of an emotional commitment or a mental commitment, it's important for you to identify what it is that you need to contribute more towards this. Like, what part of you has been distracted from this dream? And get clear on, are you not giving yourself enough time, or are you not really feeling into the soul purpose of this dream? Or are you not spending enough time processing your thoughts and all of your ideas and getting them organized? Whatever this is for you, once you commit to this goal and you take those steps to go all in so that every part of you, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, is committed, that in addition to the actual time and the hard work and the effort that you put into it, will get this goal to completion. And I'm also hearing not to be hard on yourself about the time. Maybe you need a few months or a few weeks or a few days, whatever this is for you, to allow yourself to mull it over and reflect. And, there's certain parts of this process that simply can't be rushed. But just know that once you decide to go all in, give it 100% of your commitment, because the universe is on your side, and the universe will present you with opportunities that are in alignment with your level of commitment and that are in alignment with your energetic state. So once you get really clear on what you want and you commit to it with the most soul-aligned passion and love and joy, then the universe will be synced with you so that you can really get those abundant opportunities presented to you. And that also requires you to pay attention to signs and synchronicities from the universe that are pointing you towards the steps and the actions that you may need to be taking. Allow the nature of the universe to help you along the way. And when you're making this decision, know that your spirit, your soul, is the filter through which we get clear on our decisions and our manifestations. And your highest self, the part of you, your soul is connected to divine source energy. Your soul is a piece of that infinite energy source that we are all connected by. And so when you tap into your soul, when you tap into that higher self, you are manifesting from the source, from source energy. And so your spirit and your soul will support you in this journey and in this process. You have the ability to create. You have the ability to conjure the feelings and to create the physical manifestations in your reality. You have the wisdom, you have the tools, you have the skills, you have the confidence. You simply just need to make a decision. And then that's when you can begin to take action. And, with the alignment and help of the universe, you'll know what it is you need to be doing and, what steps and what opportunities you need to be taking. But that comes from getting clear on that decision and knowing exactly what you want to accomplish and why. Why is it that you want this new aspect of your life path to be brought into reality? What feeling is it going to bring to you? And how is that feeling in alignment with your core values and the authenticity of your soul? And so recognizing that you have that divine power of transformation and creation, and that you have these powers at your command, and that you can change your reality in the way that you commit to and that is in alignment with your soul's truth. Recognize that this is a great power, and also something not to be taken lightly, something that needs to be very well thought out. It's a sacred process. So begin with the desire, begin with the passion, and make sure that that passion is aligned with your soul, with what your soul is leading you to pursue. Turn that desire into an objective, a goal. Turn your thoughts into actions. And that's when you will achieve the accomplishments of these goals. So if you have been feeling blockages or limitations, just know that these are not real, and they're imposed upon by yourself and by your subconscious limiting beliefs. And so you can take that time to clear those blockages, to remember your abundance mindset, to release and let go of and move on from the scarcity mindset. You can take the time that you need. Just remember exactly how powerful you are. And so I want to clarify these oracle cards with some more tarot cards, because that was kind of the general message coming through. And I'm getting chills as I'm pulling the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess. So this is very powerful, divine, feminine energy. And I'm getting that as you're getting clear on your endeavors, you are being called to connect with your divine feminine. You are being called to embody the archetype of the Queen of Cups. That is emotional maturity, that is intuitive knowing, and a powerful creative force through the power of your emotions and your intuition. And also having that compassion and empathy and nurturing for yourself and others, and for your overall journey and the timing of your journey, allowing grace for yourself as you work through these moments of really painting a clear picture on the vision that lies ahead. And the High Priestess is coming in because this is all about your subconscious or even hidden truths. It's again about your intuition and the deep wisdom of the divine feminine. And like I said, it's also the subconscious, and there's elements of mystery. And so you're being called to surrender to the parts of you that you don't know, or the parts of even this goal, this endeavor that aren't clear to you. And you may not have the picture, like you will not have the picture of this vision fully painted before you begin the journey of taking action and achieving the goals, right? Like, you don't need to have a perfect, exact plan, because that's not how life works, and we're meant to go with the flow. And the divine feminine is there to give the general vision, but ultimately there's going to be this aspect of flow and adaptability and, being able to, with grace, navigate through the inevitable ebbs and flows of life, and knowing that there is hidden knowledge deep within your divine feminine that you will uncover along the journey. If only you trust your gut instincts and commit to continuously looking inward and taking that time to reflect and introspect. So you're being reminded to move forward, understanding that there is a sacred knowledge, wisdom, mystery within you, embedded in your subconscious, and that you will always answer the call to go within and to listen to your inner voice, while also knowing that at the same time, you won't always get every single answer, because there is an ebb and flow of this balance of the inner divine feminine and inner divine masculine that is required of you on this journey. And so they're meant to work together. They're meant to feed off of each other and grow from one another. So the divine feminine will present to you this general mission or vision that is aligned with your soul's path. And then the divine masculine will take the action steps towards that mission. And they will continue to feed off of each other and talk to one another. And so if you're in a moment where you need to make a decision, or you need more clarity, or you need to take the next step, the divine feminine will provide the inner knowing, the gut instinct, the intuition, and the divine masculine will be able to navigate through strategy and problem solving, but both of them are going to contribute together. But in this phase that you're currently in, and we're also getting the Ace of Cups, you're being called to really lean into the emotional aspect. And by that, I mean your heart-aligned emotions, your soul-aligned emotions. So I know this has been a very general reading up to this point, but I'll give an example. So if you are, because this could be any aspect of your life path, if you are seeking a healthy relationship, you are being called to lean into the emotions that you are wanting to move towards. What would it feel like? And why does your soul want to experience that in this life? And what are the steps that you need to take in your internal world to get you closer to that? Or maybe you're trying to manifest a new career or a new home. It's the same concept. What is going to bring you the feelings of fulfillment, but not in a way of prioritizing that external accomplishment to achieve the feeling, but in a way that you're really doubling down and focusing on the feeling that is the topic of this goal, the feeling that is the result of this goal being achieved. Because that's the feeling that we don't want to be egoically driven, but we want to come from the soul. So if you're seeking some kind of security, if you're seeking more joy, more love, more peace in your life, and it's coming from your soul, it's not coming from an egoic desire or a survival mode, fear, or anything like that, this is where the Queen of Cups, the High Priestess, and the Ace of Cups are coming in to remind you to really tap into the emotion behind the goals that you seek, because that will help you get clear on your endeavor. We're also getting the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords, which is so fitting when we talk about the Make a Decision Oracle card that we pulled earlier. So the Seven of Cups is obviously talking about having all of these options. And you may even feel like there are multiple facets of your life that you are seeking improvements in or seeking change in, both of which feel very significant and, like I said, pivotal milestone dreams. And, maybe you are in a complete overhaul of several facets of your life with your relationships, your family, your friends, your home, your career, it could be any or all of those facets. And with the Seven of Cups, there are so many possibilities, and clear endeavor is asking you to not to pick one and neglect the rest, but to really get clear on the priority. Because when it really comes down to it, in your physical 3D reality, your body only has so much energy and time, and you don't want to spread yourself too thin. So you're being called to remember that getting clear on the endeavor means getting clear on where it sits in the big picture of all of the areas of life that you want to focus on. What is the absolute number one priority? And at times that may be the only thing you have the bandwidth to feed into. And of course, many of the facets of life will overlap with each other. And again, it's not to say that you have to pick one and neglect the rest, but this message is coming through to remind you of the importance of being extremely clear on what your priorities are. And this also relates to just knowing what your values are. Like if you haven't done the core values exercise, I highly recommend doing that. You can find it basically anywhere, of just narrowing down and getting clear on what your top 5 or top 3 and top 1 core value is, because that will kind of dictate the direction that you need to be going in. And then with the Seven of Swords, I'm also picking up on this element of strategy, of, that's where the divine masculine will start to come in and help with the action taking, the problem solving, the strategy, but only after you can get clear on the emotional purpose, the soul purpose behind this dream. And only after you make that decision from the Seven of Cups, then you can start bringing in, all of these cards, Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups, Seven of Cups, those are all of the water sign being cups. And then the High Priestess is, of course, a very divine, feminine, flowing energy of our emotions and our intuition. And so these are the first 4 cards that came out to clarify these oracle cards. And it's like only after those are accomplished will you be able to work on that strategy, that mental aspect with the Seven of Swords. And since the Seven of Swords can sometimes represent deception, which I don't necessarily think is the case here, but it can require you to act alone, and keep things to yourself when you are navigating certain situations. Like sometimes confrontation or sharing your plans are not going to benefit your strategy. But I'm also picking up on this energy of there being this person or connection or relationship that maybe is lingering in the back of your subconscious, and it's kind of interfering with your ability to get clear on some other facet of life, or maybe the facet of life that you are really trying to nurture right now with this clear endeavor card is your relationships. And maybe that relationship is in an uncertain area, or an energy of there being unknowns. Maybe you felt like you were avoided, or you felt like they deceived you in some way, or you felt like they were dishonest or not being completely upfront with you. And if that's the case, you are being called to lean in again to those emotions, to your intuition, moving forward, whether this is a facet of life, like I said, that's external to that relationship, like your home or your career, or whether it's about that specific relationship, you are being called to go inward. That's why all of these cards are coming forward about a new emotional beginning, an ability to have a strong connection with your intuition. And I'm picking up on a portion of the collective that is in separation with this person or has taken a break from this person. If this is a twin flame, this may be for you as well. And you may have needed to leave a situation in order to protect yourself. And you had to recalibrate and regroup and get clear on your emotional state and what you needed. And maybe there were some boundaries that needed to be set, or some people-pleasing tendencies that needed to be overcome, and you had to leave that behind and come back to yourself. And so now, as you're seeking to get clear on this endeavor, clear on this dream life that you want, it's requiring you to regulate your nervous system, to get yourself to a place where you feel safe on an emotional and intuitive level. And from that foundation of peace and stability that you've created for yourself in your internal world, from that foundation, you can now get clear on what is meant for you moving forward. And from there, that's when you're able to make that decision. So I want to clarify this Seven of Swords energy and just see if there's anything else that needs to come through for us to understand going forward. And we have the Six of Wands and the Queen of Wands. Wow. Now, I've said this before in readings, but I love when I get water and fire coming out together in one message, because it's such a beautiful representation of the inner divine feminine, which is the water, the cups, and the inner divine masculine, which is the fire or the wands. And so now we have both the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands coming out here. And so, of course, it's both queen energy, but because of that duality of the water and fire, I'm just picking up on such a beautiful internal balance. And, we started off this reading with the Queen of Cups, High Priestess, Ace of Cups, Seven of Cups. We had cups and water energy, as well as the High Priestess, which is the divine feminine. And then with the Seven of Swords being that air element, kind of moving us a little bit towards that masculine, strategy, problem solving, doing. I love that we're getting these fire cards coming out, which is representing your divine masculine, your inner divine masculine, more importantly. And with the Six of Wands, this is all about an achievement, a recognition. And so the clear message here is that when you do that work to get clear within your inner emotional state through the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess archetype, and starting anew with that Ace of Cups energy, that new emotional beginning, that new way of navigating through life with healthy and positive emotional habits and patterns, from that, you end up with this recognition with the Six of Wands, and with the Queen of Wands, you have this beautiful balance of your divine masculine, your inner divine masculine, to help accompany and serve the inner divine feminine represented by the Queen of Cups. So when you navigate through these emotional clarities, these intuitive depths that you are being called towards, and then when you take that next step of taking action, after you've made that decision, you take that action, you problem solve with the Seven of Swords, that deception will disappear, because you will be in your inner divine masculine union. And so you won't magnetize those types of connections anymore, especially for the collective that is specifically manifesting, relationship improvements, or who is seeking for guidance on this facet of life, of love life, relationships, especially on the twin flame journey. And so taking this time to yourself to recalibrate, to get emotional fulfillment from within without having achieved anything externally is crucial, because it is the first step to getting clear on the vision. And then once you make that decision, you flow into that inner divine masculine energy, which is charismatic and taking the lead and taking the action. And that's all what the Queen of Wands is portraying. And again, with the Six of Wands, people see that in you. People feel your energy. People feel that you are anchored in your own inner union. So I want to pull just one more oracle card to see if there's anything else that needs to come out. We have the energy card. It says, life force is flowing. Open yourself to receive the power from within. And there is a dragon on this card, and it's very orange. So it's very much giving that kind of fiery masculine energy. But ultimately, the message on this card is all about the flow of life force. And so this is all about your inner divine union, calling upon and receiving your power from within yourself, not from this external person, or not from some external relationship or some external goal. Again, if this is home or career for you, it's all about your internal state, your emotions from your inner divine feminine, your emotions and your intuition, and your ability to exercise your decision making and your action taking from your inner divine masculine as well. So I'm going to leave the reading here. I hope that this was helpful for you, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if anything resonated with you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.